The Breakfast Club new interview with Larry Elder sort of confirmed our suspicions. Charlamagne Tha God is really an agent for the left. See, they brought on Larry Elder, and their goal was to corner him and paint him as a racist. But by the end of this interview, Larry Elder had Charlamagne Tha God, DJ Envy, and the female they recruited for the interview. They had all three of them looking like idiots, bro. Now, I knew it was going to be a long interview really early on when this happened.
So now, let's jump right into it. Why are you running for president?
Well, I'm running as an America First mega guy, and we have an America First mega guy running, obviously. So the question is, what do you bring to the table?
This was Larry Elder's one of only two mistakes during his entire interview. Like, bro, get your own swag, bro. I mean, like, MAGA is Trump swag. Get your own swag, bro. Be original.
You said MAGA?
MAGA.
Okay.
And the answer is, I bring a lot of issues to the table that I feel our side is not talking enough about, if at all. For example, the number one social problem in America, by far, is the epidemic not of COVID, but of fatherlessness. If you're raised without a dad, you're 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail. What's happened? In the mid-'60s, with I think the best of intentions, a Democrat named Lyndon Johnson launched what he called the War on Poverty. And since then, we have incentivized women to marry the government and incentivize men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility.
That brother spitting. Bro, he's spitting that crack. It was up to us to pick it up and bag it tight and try to repurpose it, man. But apparently, right, Charlamagne Tha God and them brought this brother on with an agenda in mind. So even if he's making sense of saying things you can't dispute, they was gonna push back. So Charlamagne Tha God's response to this brother spitting facts is, what about white people?
Let me ask you a question. What do white people do wrong, Larry Elder?
What do you mean, what do white people do? I'm not worried about white people. I'm worried about what's going on with us.
But if there's systemic racism in this country, which we know it is.
No, I don't say there is. You say there is. I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't believe there's
No,
systemic
there
racism?
used to be, obviously. Tell me what you think the number one systemic example of systemic racism is in America.
Oh, man, there's so many.
Just give me the most important one you think.
But at the top of mind, I'd probably maybe say mass incarceration. Maybe.
Really? During the Great Depression, when 50% of black adults were unemployed, you didn't have this kind of mass incarceration.
Now for the rest of this interview, is Charlamagne Tha God and them trying to prove that the United States is systematically racist, and him just slicing up every myth they present to him, bruh. So after he sliced up the mass incarceration myth, they then brought up Black Wall Street, and this brother annihilated them folks, bruh. The brother made Charlamagne Tha God looking in his notes, but looking for the PowerPoint, right? The DNC provided for him to debug Larry Elder, bruh.
87% of blacks live below the poverty line. This is before Brown versus Board of Education.
Probably
You did not find these kind of black-on-black crime.
Probably because we had no
But
choice.
they still were living
ourselves.
below the poverty line, though, sir.
I'm sorry?
You're forgetting the fact that they were still living below the poverty line. You're picking and choosing, saying this was good, but this was bad.
Okay.
The bottom line, they end between the poverty line. But let's move forward on
Well,
system.
can I just address that? In 1940, 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. 1960, that number had fallen to 47%. That's a 40-point drop in 20 years. That's the greatest 20-year period of economic expansion for black people in the history of America. Again, well before Brown versus Board of Education, well before the KKK imploded, well before we had race-based preferences. Why? Because it was rare for a black kid to be raised in a family without a father in the home. A strong belief in Judeo-Christian values, a belief in patriotism, even as America wasn't applying these values to black people, obviously, and a belief in entrepreneurship. All those things are now under assault by organizations like Black Lives Matter. Charlamagne, Black Lives Matter had on their website an attack on the nuclear family. The founders are self-described Marxists, trained Marxists. Marx wanted to dethrone God, was an atheist, and Marx did not believe in capitalism, let alone entrepreneurship. All the things that made black people still survive in virulent racism are now under attack by organizations like Black Lives Matter.
All of those things have always been under attack by white supremacy.
Hey, peep how Charlamagne made sure to take that conversation off BLM, bruh. Bruh, he provided you with nothing but facts. Bruh, the brother was spitting that good stuff. Feel me? All right, he brought the receipts, brought up Black Lives Matter mission statement. And what the Charlamagne response was? Yo, what about the white supremacists? Yo, we can get to them, but we can't talk about Black Lives Matter, Charlamagne? We can't talk about Black Lives Matter? But Larry Elder allowed him to pivot to the white supremacy and He debunked that too, bruh.
And let's talk about when they talk about entrepreneurship. They are giving so much money to these white and Asian kids and Asian people doing it, and a 1,000 times less than our community. Will you agree to any of that?
No, I don't. I don't agree with virtually any of what you just now said. The turn down rate for a white applicant for a mortgage is higher than the turn down rate for a Japanese or Chinese applicant for a mortgage. Now, are you telling me that banks are discriminating against white and in favor of Asian Americans? It's because their credit scores are better. They often live below their means. They save more, even when they're making the same amount of money than black people do. If you have poor credit score, you're not going to get a loan. Period. End of statement.
I know you heard that, but before I pause, that right there is that chick trying to butt in when this man is spitting facts, bruh. And she butts in to say the stupidest points, bruh. Watch her rebuttal to him just spitting facts. Watch how she's completely off base and don't even make sense. Like, she's not even talking about the same thing he's talking about.
Even the head of Urban League, a black man once said that if you have poor credit score, you're not going to get a loan. End of statement.
Sir,
yes.
let's just When you were talking about crime, you weren't prepared to talk about disproportion. You talked about how it was more black people that was doing it, and then you talked about how we're the smaller, of the population. The same applies also to the loans. It's more white people than it is black people.
What does that have to do with disproportion? Let's just skip past her, bro. She's an idiot. Get back to Larry Elder spitting that good shit.
I'm not sure you understood.
Which is why they said.
I'm not sure you understood.
No, I understood.
I'm not sure you understood my point. That's why I mentioned in 1995 when 186 black people who were not getting loans filed a class action lawsuit claiming that they were denied the loan because of racism. Citicorp said, okay, here are your loans. The reason I wasn't giving you the loans is because we're afraid you weren't going to be able to pay them back.
I'm not talking about
Fast
this,
forward,
sir.
they weren't able to pay them back, which proved the Citicorp point.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about
I know
that.
you're
I'm
not,
talking about your
because
response.
inconvenient.
Shout out to Mr. Larry Elder, bro. Now, the massacre continued, all right, when Charlamagne Tha God and this chick says that America is more racist now than we were in 1997.
Let me just, one more point. 1997, Time Magazine and CNN hooked up together to do a poll on what black teenagers and white teenagers felt about racism. Mm-hmm. And both of them were asked, is racism a major problem in America? Both of them said yes. But then Time and CNN asked this question of the black teenagers. Is racism a big problem, a small problem, or no problem in your own daily life? This is 1997. 89% of them said small problem or no problem in my own daily life. In fact, twice as many blacks said failure to take advantage of available opportunities is a bigger problem than racism.
That was 1997.
1997. Look it up.
It's 2023, though.
You think America's more racist now after the election and re-election of Barack Obama than it was in 1997?
Yes, because of the election of MAGA, Donald Trump, 100%. Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, how?
At this point, this is just disgusting, bro. I feel like the old Charlamagne would have been much more receptive to the facts. But for you to even get off that we're currently more racist than we were 30 years after the Civil Rights Movement? Are you serious, bro? Like, we more racist right now than we were 30 years after the Montgomery boycott? Bro, is you crazy? Larry Elder continues to cook, and even their response to basic statistic and facts is alarming, bro. It's either they're just grotesquely stupid or, they getting paid to push back on this man, bro.
How is it, Charlamagne, that Donald Trump got 8% of the black vote in 2016? He got 12% in 2020, a 50% increase. He got 20% of the black male vote in 2020. If MAGA is racist, how do you explain that Donald Trump substantially increased the percentage of black votes Republican Party got?
Sometimes people make poor
So why are
choices.
you running against?
Votes Republican Party got.
Sometimes people make poor
So why are
choices.
you running against Trump then,
Hold on,
Mr.
Ted.
Elder?
Yeah,
I'm not running against him. I'm running against Biden Harris. Any one of the Republican nominees we have would be better than what we have right now. I'm not running against him. I'm running to put forth the issues I just now mentioned that I've been talking about for the last few minutes.
Another gotcha question debunked. Now, what I realized in this quote-unquote debate or like interaction, right, is their education is barbershop talk, right? They're bringing myths and barbershop conversations to a man who is well-read and well-educated. So he just spent the rest of the show just like debunking them. Because what happened next was they brought up that MLK was murdered by the FBI. Now, that's something that most black folks believe. Hey, I do too. But if you're going to bring that up to a scholar, at least have facts and proof and reasoning. Or listen, even if you got the conspiracy reasoning, at least have something to rebuttal with. But don't just get squashed and then run off your point as fast as you stated it.
Nothing changes. He was
well,
naive.
the system
He was
also
naive then.
killed him as well. Well, we know that the FBI and the CIA also killed him. That system. You realize that, correct?
Wow. An individual killed him.
Right. That was also a part of Pro Hotel through the system.
COINTELPRO,
correct?
yeah.
Not correct.
COINTELPRO.
Not correct. He was
So
killed.
the FBI didn't have anything to do with it. The CIA didn't have anything to do with
J.
it.
Edgar Hoover was definitely on Martin's ass. Like, come on.
I didn't say he wasn't.
Oh.
Robert Kennedy is the one that approved the wiretaps. But to say that the FBI killed him, I mean, what's your evidence of that?
No,
That's a pretty serious charge.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Pretty serious charge.
Yeah.
Serious charge
Yeah, I
requires
was talking
serious
about the
evidence.
Yeah.
What is your
Mr.
enforcement
Elder,
law proposal?
Yo, this is embarrassing, bruh. Like, these are the black scholars that the Democrats set up. This is embarrassing, bruh. Like, you bring that up on a national platform and, like, I'm cringing at how bad that was, bruh. Like, she got, like, left looking stupid. Even Charlamagne had it back on, like, hey, listen, yeah, bruh. All right? Now, after this, like, Charlamagne tried to get a little bit too educated or a little bit too smart for his bridges. All right? He started throwing out words he don't know what they mean, right? He threw out the word fascism. And Larry Elder schooled him there as well. And once Larry Elder schooled him, Charlamagne started reading from the script the Democrats gave him.
You think members of your party are leaning toward fascism?
Define fascism.
Authoritarianism?
Define fascism.
I mean, the rejection of democracy, the rule of law, and equal rights under the law in favor of a strong man, Donald Trump, who interprets the popular will.
It's radio, so I understand he probably thought he could get away with it. But, bruh, we were going to see it on video later. He's legit just reading from the PowerPoint they gave the dude. Yo, this is sickening. But Larry Elder still squashed that as well, man.
No, I don't. There was a long article about Barack Obama by one of my mentors. His name is Thomas Sowell. He's an economist, he's a black conservative, still alive, around 95 years old. And he wrote a piece in which he said a lot of people call people like Barack Obama socialist. Socialism is government ownership of the means of production. Mm-hmm. Fascism is when the government allows you to own means of production, but government tells you what to do. And he said, frankly, technically, people like Barack Obama are fascists. That is to say, these are left-wing people telling you how to run your business, telling you what to sell, telling you what you can't sell. For example, in California, we have a governor named Gavin Newsom who recently said by the year 2035, no more sale of new gas-powered cars. How dare you? Most people don't want an EV. They like their own gasoline-powered cars, but now you're telling car dealerships they can't even sell them? What do you call that?
Then what happened next leaves a permanent stain on Charlamagne. But I don't think Charlamagne can shake the stain of what took place right after this. So Charlamagne asked Larry Elder, have you ever had your nigga wake up call? Essentially trying to call him a cocoon and saying he's not really the average black man. He's a cope, right? Well, Larry Elder flipped it. Bro, had that boy Charlamagne tapping out, bro, saying no mas. Pause. That wasn't no turbulence, by the way. It does me just clapping.
Have you ever heard of the term nigga wake up call?
No.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of racism. Have you ever had any of those?
Oh, brother.
I'm just asking. You think you've ever
Well,
had
I'm acutely aware, Charlamagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump, it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in here and insult you, a black man, and tell you you got to think a certain kind of way? I'm amazed that you weren't mad about that.
I'm not gonna say it upset me, just like I'm not letting you upset me. You know what I mean? I don't tend to get upset over things like that. But what I did say,
well, you
was
just not
it's
talk about a nigger wake-up call, and it seemed to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part to have a white guy come in here who also said, by the way, about Mitt Romney. Because he didn't want to put more regulations on Wall Street, going to put y'all back in chains. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. He lied and said that he tried to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. He did not. And he came in here and told you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seemed to me that should have been a nigga wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently.
Nigga. Nigga. Hey, listen up, man. Their goal was to paint this man as a cocoon, but that man came and painted Charlamagne as the cocoon, bro. Hey, What response do you have to that, Charlamagne? Right? That Democrat came up in this building, right? Embarrassed you, called you out, said you're not a black man, Charlamagne, and you still out here caping for him. Right? Now, Charlamagne's response would be, oh, I'm not no party. Stop it, bro. Bro, we ain't never seen you criticize the Democrats, bro. Never in life. Stop it, Charlamagne. Right? The only time I ever seen you criticize the Democrats, bro, was when Kamala Harris came and you tried to troll her. That's about it. Right? Now, after he obliterated Charlamagne, Charlamagne started fumbling over his words. Then Charlamagne went right back to reading the PowerPoint, bro, the Democrats gave him for Larry Elder, bro. I'm talking about direct reading script to script, bro. Started squinting it. Bro, just check it out.
You ought to think as a black person. It blew my mind.
As a person objectively who doesn't care about either party, when I just take a step back and I just look at everything that's happening, I see one party that seems still committed to democracy somewhat, and one party who's headed fast towards fascism. That's just my personal opinion. So who do you think I would vote for?
Well, let's talk about fascism, since I assume you're talking about election denying. In 2000, when George W. Bush won the election over Al Gore, the Democrats, the first week of January 2001, tried to overturn the results in Florida. 2004, George W. Bush gets reelected. Democrats, including Benny Thompson, the chair of the January 6th committee, Jamie Raskin, a member of the January 6th committee, joined with 28 other House Democrats and Senator Barbara Boxer to overturn the results in Ohio, claiming without any evidence that the Debo voting machine had been hacked. 2016, January 2017, Democrats challenged more states trying to get the election overturned that elected Donald Trump. Then Donald Trump challenged the first week of January in 2021. Nobody accused them of undermining our republic. Nobody accused them of being fascists. They exercised whatever means they could to try to win the election. I want to remind you that Hillary Clinton advised Joe Biden during the 2020 election, if it is a close election, quote, do not concede under any circumstances, close quote. Donald Trump used whatever legal means he could, advancing some novel legal theories to try to stay in office, and he failed.
So after Larry Elder debunked the election stealing thing, right? What did Charlamagne do? Again, he ain't addressed what Hillary did. He ain't addressed what nobody else did, right? Charlamagne Tha God pivoted directly to the script the Democrats gave him. He pulled out the computer and started reading word for word what they told him to say back to Larry Elder. This is embarrassing, y'all.
But I don't blame him for trying.
Yeah, but it's not just election denying. It's the disdain of women in fear of non-standard gender identities and sexual orientation.
Disdain for women.
It's the galvanizing of popular rage against cultural elites. It's nationalism based on dominant, superior race and historic bloodlines. Like, there's a lot of things.
Come on, Charlamagne, bruh. Like, yo, the old Charlamagne would never have done this, brother. Yo, the old Charlamagne would have been open and receptive to the facts. Me personally, I don't flow on any side, right? I'm directly middle, and I'll vote for my personal interest. My personal interest will benefits me, all right? When I was down, talking about in the trenches, bro, give me the handouts. Now I got a career and got something to go for myself. Hey, bro, I'm trying to protect my income as much as possible, right? That's how it should be, right? Vote for your personal interest. This like picking sides and coping for one side, regardless of the facts, to me, is just whack, bro. But like we can stop here, bro. We don't gotta go too much further regarding Charlamagne, man. But while you guys are here, man, click on this video to find out how Keithy D is about to go to jail for life because of this statement he made on Vlad TV. I'm gonna see you guys in this video. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.